what's making it float. All right, so now it's still, everything is perfect. Right, so it is now, I'm sure, 9 o'clock on the dot. I hope everyone is well and happy as I am. I hope everyone is excited as I am. Yesterday, we spoke about fractions. We spoke about the types of fractions. And yeah, so today what we're doing is that we're just looking at adding and subtracting fractions that have the same denominator. Tomorrow we're going to do adding and subtracting fractions that have different denominators. So that's it. That's the lesson for today. We are going to learn how to add and subtract fractions with either the same or different denominators. We're going to look at also the different types of it. And then as we go along, soon we're also going to be doing ordering and pairing and all of that. But for now, today, what we're going to do is just going to do something a bit simple as well, which is just the adding and subtracting of the adding and the addition and subtraction of fractions with the same denominator. As I always tell you guys, that one thing I would always tell you guys is that please note that it's very important. Please note that you can contact me two ways, either Twitter or email. One of the two. I don't mind either of them. I'm always available and ready. So you can, if you have a problem, you can either contact me through Twitter or email. And that's how best it can work for the both of for all of us, is that you can just say, no, sir, how are you? Fine. Even if you have any suggestions, guys, I like that. I want to tailor the classes to you guys, specifically to you guys. I want to tailor them that they must suit you and complement the people that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, because we've been together for some time. So it's good that we shape it according to the way we learn, so that even later on, when we're close to an end, I'm going to show you how we've been repeating the same thing all over, how everything that we've been doing in maths interlinks, how they all work together. So for that to happen, I need always constant communication with you guys, to tell me, no, I suggest you do this, I do that. In school, I was struggling with this, so that I know to say that I must spend a lot of time on this, I must spend a short time on this. Like, once it works out, then like that, then we are super and awesome. So besides that, guys, my name is Chipono Solongwe, and let us start. So we're adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator. That's what we're looking at. We are adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator. Guys, what is important with adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator is that you only focus on your numerators. You see, this is tomorrow. This is where we're going to do something called lowest common denominator, or LCD, that I'll teach you guys tomorrow. But here, what we have is that now when we're looking at adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators, our prime focus is what? The numerators. Why is our focus the numerators? Why do we focus on the numerators? Is that it's like I always tell people that I'm teaching or explaining the concept of fractions too, is that the reason why we focus on the numerators, the top numbers, when we're having already the same denominator, is that with fractions, you only add fractions that which are from the same family, which are the same. So that's why even the reason why you have an LCD, that other side, saying the lowest common denominator, is that I want to make the fractions come from the same place. They must, if it's the denominator is 24, for one, the other one must be 24. So once you already have the same story like that already to say, no, I already have the same denominator already. I already have the same denominator. You focus on the 2 on the top and say, no, 1 plus 3 is 4. Because remember, the denominator stays the same after the addition or subtraction. The denominator only changes when they're different. But when we're looking at adding with the same denominators, the denominator stays the same. Your only focus is the numerator. That's what's important, is the numerators. When denominators are the same, your only focus is the numerators. You concentrate on the numerators. This is one that explains with the different denominators. I want to focus on the one that have the same denominator. For example, we have want to add one a quarter and a quarter, right? Want to add a quarter and a quarter. And since we want to add a quarter and a quarter, what do we need to do? So first step in adding fractions with the same denominator. First step in adding fractions that have the same denominator is the fact that we need to check we need to check number one. Okay, first step is just adding fractions, right? Let me give you guys steps because I feel that you guys need steps, right? So first step in adding fractions is that we need to check, are the denominators the same? So that's fine. Check, right? We check that the denominators are the same. Second step that we check is that looking at the numerators, because when you add 4 plus 2, 3 plus 4, looking at the numerators, are they in order? Why? Remember that with fractions, yes, you do get circumstances of negative fractions, but that you start dealing with later on, more later on as you go along in maths. But around this time in grade 4, we don't really focus on negative fractions. That's why I always tell people to say, order your fractions. So first have denominators the same. Then start the one that has the highest denominator first, and then you put the one that has the lowest denominator second. And then you can add or subtract. But first step is to make sure that you check, are my denominators the same? As today we're learning to say what you focus is on the numerators. The main focus is that the numerators are our main focus. For example, if I have, where can I jot this down? If I have, I'll do it right up here. I want us to do a quick example because this one is quite easy. If I have an improper fraction, right, of 4 over 2, and I'm adding it to another proper fraction of a half, what is my answer? What is my answer? I have an improper fraction of 4 over 2, and I'm adding it to a half. What is my answer? Who can help us with an answer? Who can help us to say, what is the answer? I'm adding the improper fraction here of 4 over 2 to a half. What is our answer? Who can help us? I want someone to talk. Let's have a discussion, guys. Let's have a discussion. I see the answer in the chat. I want a discussion. Hello.
Hello, Sam.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. And how are you, Sam?
I'm fantastic. What is our answer?
The answer is 5 over 2.
Awesome. 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 The answer is 5 over 2. That is our answer. It's 5 over 2. It would be also good to put it as a mixed fraction. So how best do you change something into a mixed fraction? Changing something into a mixed fraction is quite simple. You look at how many times does 2 go into 5, right? It is what? 2 times, right? It is 2 times. Then you put the 2 here. Now remember that you multiply with the bottom, you add with the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. Then what would be to get us to 5? You just add 1. That's how you change something to mixed fraction. But I'll keep on doing that as part of the lessons as we go along. But sometimes, it's nice to leave it as a mixed fraction, but you can also leave your answer as an improper fraction, because the question was just saying add. It's add. So we added, we said 4 over 2 plus 1 over 2 to get our answer. That's now how, please write this down. Please write this down now quickly. That's how we add. We focus on the numerators. The focus is the numerator. Then we're going to discuss the subtraction now. The focus is the numerators. Always, 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 when you're adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator, the focus is the numerators. The numerators are the most important thing in the world. The numerators are the most important thing in the world. You look at the numerators, that's the one that help you, because the denominators is the same. I see that I've got questions. I've got a question. I'll take it now. Hello?
I don't have a question.
All right, it's fine. Awesome. Is there anyone with a question? Is there anyone who has a question while you guys are writing that down? Please, guys, tell me when you're done writing down this example that I've just made for you. Please tell me when you're done making this example, writing down the example that I've just done for you in the chat. But is there anyone with a question who is confused, a bit confused, not understanding? As I said, that when we're adding fractions with the same denominator, you focus on the numerator. When we're subtracting fractions with the same denominator, you focus on the numerators. That's the most important thing, the numerators, because the denominators is still the same. The denominator is still 5. We're going to do different denominators soon. That one you should not worry about. We're going to do different denominators very soon. But I wanted to focus on, yes, I just showed you guys different denominators today because I wanted you guys to know that, yes, it is possible, but it's very, 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 very important that now looking at denominators that are the same, our prime focus is what? What is our prime focus? Our prime focus is the numerators. Our prime focus is the numerators. So having that in mind, it's very, 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 very important that we keep having that the prime focus is the numerators. Our prime focus is the numerators. Right. So I want just a quick notification if you are done in the chat. I have 1. Can I have 2 more? Can I have 2 more? Then I move on. 2 more notification that we're done with writing down this example. I will always, within the examples, tell you how to be changing things. So can I just have 2 more notifications that were done within the chat? And then I know that our story will go to the next slide. So I just need 1 more that will make the entire 3. Then I know that I can move on to the next slide. So I've got 1, I've got 2. I just want 1 more notification in the chat that we're done. Awesome! 100%. Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Next slide. Next slide. Right. Subtracting. So, as I said, guys, when you want to subtract fractions, the same denominator, what you focus is on the numerator. So here, step number 1 is you want to have your highest, then your the lowest. For example, you will put 13, minus 2. Because the same denominator, 13 over 9 minus 2 over 9. You do not want a situation like this. 2 over 9 minus 13 over 9. That would be wrong. Because they didn't ask you for a negative fraction. So it's very important that you order them correctly. That's the first step. Because you know that the denominators are the same. Then after ordering them correctly, you subtract 13 minus 2 is what? 11. 11 over 9. And you can also change this into a mixed fraction. Who can help me change this into a mixed fraction? Let's change 11 over 9 into a mixed fraction. This is what we're going to always do. Or simultaneously, we're always going to be changing these things into a mixed fraction. So who can help me? Who can help me? I've got one person. Hello. 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 All right, the last one. Hello. Maybe there's something wrong. Fine. Anyone else who can help me change it into a mixed fraction? Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you?
Fine, thanks, and you?
I am fantastic, super, wonderful, and everything. So, can you please help me change 11 over 9 into a mixed fraction?
I think it's 1 whole and a half.
1 whole and a half. Remember that the denominator 9, it would be 9 with this one. So let's see. Isn't it that we multiply with the bottom and we add with the top? So 1 times 9 is what?
9.
And then how much more do we need to turn it into 11?
2.
So what would be our final answer?
It would be 1 whole and 2 ninths.
You are fantastic. You are awesome. You are awesome. You are awesome. You're awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Beautiful. Let me just do this. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, guys. Not to move away from what we're talking about, but whenever you change something into a mixed fraction, just it's like that. First question you ask yourself is, how many times does this one go into this one? Because you remember that an improper fraction, the numerator is more than the denominator. So first question you ask yourself, let me even do one quickly, not to move away from what we're speaking about. But let's say 13 over 5. I'd ask myself question number 1. Question, how many times does 5 go into 13? I know 5 goes into 13 twice. And the denominator stays the same. The denominator doesn't change. And since I know you multiply with the bottom and you add with the top, 2 times 5 is 10. So how much more do I need to turn it into 13? 3. So the minute you find yourself having a whole number and a proper fraction, you're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. Over. Time is up. No more doing anything else besides that. Right. Now, next one. 4 over 3 minus 1 over 3. As I said, you focus on the numerators. Your focus is on the numerators. So you say 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 over 3 is 1. When you simplify. Oh, yes. And also, guys, simplifying an improper, you're turning it into a mixed. Right. Then that's it. So when the denominators are the same, you focus on the numerators. When the denominators are the same, you focus on the numerators. Are there any questions with subtraction? Are there any questions with subtraction? Please write down these examples now for quick 2 minutes. But I want to know, are there any questions with subtraction? Does anyone have a question, or they want to comment or anything? Does anyone have a question? I need questions now. Is there anyone with a question? You can just also quickly tell me in the chat if you have a question, and then I can unmute you, then you can talk. Or you can just say, I don't have a question. That would also be awesome. You understand? So are there anyone with questions? Anyone who's lost? Anyone who's still trying to find him or themselves? I think there is someone with a question because it changed. Let me check here. Hello? Hello? All right. Didn't work out for us. Let's try here. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh. Hey, hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm good. Do you have a question?
Why do you have to write the numbers on the side?
Why do you have to?
Write the whole numbers on the side.
Remember that when you're writing a improper fraction in the simplest form, it becomes a mixed fraction. And a mixed fraction shows that we've already passed a whole. For example, an improper fraction is the same thing as a mixed fraction, because an improper fraction shows you that you've already passed one whole. Remember that a fraction is a part of a whole, right?
Yes.
So since a fraction is a part of a whole, we normally now want to show that completely, to say that, look, in this sum, we've already passed a whole. We've already got one whole number. And since we already have one whole number, there was the last part, the last bit left. You understand? That's why we have the whole, and what we have is the proper fraction next to it. Like, for example, here saying that we were left with one whole and 2 ninths. That's why you put the whole number next to the proper fraction, to show that you've already passed the whole. Because remember that an improper fraction and a mixed fraction are the same thing. They're related. It's just that they're written differently.
So we can write them. We can write both of them.
You can write the improper fraction and you can say equals to the mixed fraction.
Okay.
Sometimes you can even just write it as one answer as the mixed fraction. It depends on what the question wants you to do. But you can write both of them. There's nothing. Thank you for the question. Is there any other question? Is there any other question? Is there any other question that we can have? Is there any other question? Because I want us now to quickly go into an exercise. Is there any other question that we can have, that so that we can go into the exercise? Because I want us to cover this, because tomorrow we're going to be doing it with different denominators. We're going to be looking at the questions that when they have different denominators. Is there anyone with a question? I see quite a few hands here. Let me get some questions here. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, how
Hello.
are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
I'm good. What is your question?
Do we have homework?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for the question. All right. So I see that the questions are quite common. It's fine. Let us go here. Let's look at this type of subtraction. So sometimes you're going to find that you are subtracting two fractions that are mixed. What is important here is also the denominators. Check, are the denominators the same? Yes. Then you just subtract whole from whole. 3 minus 1 is 1. Then What happened here? Oh, there was a conversion. Oh, sorry. I did not see that. All right, fine. Here's the situation at hand. Right. You have the whole is big, right? I did not see that. I thought it's the same, right? So you have a full whole, right? Your problem is here. You can't say whole from whole and proper from proper. Why? Because here the proper fraction here is smaller than this one, and we need a situation whereby the entire fraction here needs to be more than this one. The whole fraction here must be more than this one. So what happens is that we take out one whole here and we add it to this one. It will still give us the answer. Or what I always tell people, you can change these into impropers and subtract. Let's try that first. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13 over 4, right? So I have 13 over 4. Right? Then I say minus. Then I say 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7 over 4. What is my final answer? My final answer is what? 6. My final answer is 6 over 4. You can do that. You can change it. Say, multiply the bottom at the top. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13 over 4. 1 times 4 is 5 plus 3 is 7 over 4. Subtract the 2. And then after that, you get your final answer. Then what you can do is that you can just change this into a mixed fraction and say that what's this? 4 goes into here once and for me to get the other part, so 4 goes into here once, and for me to get the rest, because 1 times 4 is 4 plus, then to get to 6 I must add 2, and then you are done. Or you can, what they did here in this step was they took one whole and they added it to this part here. So you take away a whole from here, you left it 2. Then you add a whole to here. So you're adding a quarter plus 4 over 4, which gives us what? 5 over 4. So that you can say whole from whole and improper fraction from common fraction. Or best, as I say, guys, change them both into improper fractions, subtract them, get your answer, change it into a mixed fraction. Those are 2 ways you can do. Those are the 2 ways that you can work it out. Those are the 2 ways that you can work it out. For example, let me make this more clear to you. They took away a whole from here. So they put a 2 plus 2, because this is smaller than this one, right? So they took away the 2 here, the one whole from that one, and they said, okay, in brackets, I'm going to have a quarter, and this quarter, I'm going to be adding a full whole to it. A full whole is what? 4 over 4. So adding the full whole to it, I have, all in all, 2 5 over 4. Then you can subtract whole from whole, fraction from fraction, you get your final answer, or you can do it this way. Are there any questions before we go into our exercise, our class exercise? Are there any questions before we go to our class exercise? Or do we understand? Are we finding ourselves understanding? Because I want us to quickly go into our class exercise. That would be very nice for us to do that right now. Are there any questions? Does anyone have a question? I see quite a few hands. Let me just take them.
Bangkok.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Yes. Do you have a question?
Yes, Sam.
What is your question?
Sam, how do you know if you're going to have to need a whole number?
It's when you find that same situation like this. I have this whole, you see that 3 is more than 1, right?
Yes.
And 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 since I see that 3 is more than 1, it's very easy for me to just say 3 minus 1. But when I do that, remember that I'll need to subtract the fraction here from this fraction. But this one is less than this one. Why? Because this is a quarter and this is 3 over 4, right? So this gives you the guide. The two fractions there gives you the guide to say that, no, let me take one whole from here and put it this side so that the fractions themselves, that this one can be more than this one. Remember that we don't want a negative answer.
Yes, sir.
Or you can change it as I did here at the bottom. You can, if it's confusing, you can change it into an improper fraction and subtract it from an improper fraction to get the answer. Then you can change it back into mixed. To say that I said here, 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13 over 4. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3, it's 7 over 4. 13 minus 7, because isn't the denominators are the same. So I say 13
Yes.
minus 7, which is 6 over 4. Then I change it into a mixed fraction, and I'm done. So you can even do this one. If you can see that, no, I might not understand this one that says speaking about, let me try that one of changing them both into improper fractions.
Thank you, sir. Now I understand.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let us go into our exercise so that so that we can see whether we truly do understand. Here is an exercise for you guys. I'm going to give you guys the last remaining 8 minutes to try as many questions as possible. So the last remaining 8 minutes to try as many questions as possible, and then we go into the homework part of it, and then we close. So your time starts now. 8 minutes to try as many questions as possible. 8 minutes to try as many questions as possible. Let me just put off my mic and give you the full time to work it out. You guys, you have how many minutes left? You have a 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left. Please use them wisely. 5 minutes to do this exercise. 5 minutes. When you're done, just tell me in the chat that you're done. Hello. So I see a lot of you are done. And for those who are still busy, you've got a minute left. You've got 1 minute left. For those who are still busy, you've got a minute left. Most of you are done, so it must have been quite easy. Must have not been that challenging at all. So you've got a minute left. Got a minute. Right. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. This is beautiful and fantastic and wonderful. All right. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Let us go into the corrections. Right. So here are our corrections. Is it? Yes, it is. Beautiful. Who can explain, or who wants to try explain to us how they got, let's start here, number 1 here, and how they got the answer of here. That's all. Number 1 and number 14. Who can explain that for us? Then we go into our homework. Who can quickly explain that for us? Anybody who is willing to explain how they got the answer of number 1 and how they got the answer of number 14. Let me try here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
How are you?
Fine.
I'm good. How did you get the answer of number 1 and number 14? The answer for number 1 and number 14.
I added 3 over 5.
You added? Please repeat. You added?
I added 1 whole over 1 over 2.
Uh-huh.
Then
So you added 2 over 5 plus 1 over 5 and you got 3 over 5.
You, 1 whole over 1 over 2 equals to 3 over 2.
Oh, all right. Number 14. So you just added 2 over 5 plus 1 over 5, meaning you just added the numerators, you got 3 over 5.
Yes, sir.
Right. Number 14, how did you do it? 11 over 25 minus 7 over 25.
Sir, I said 3 over 6. I said 3 over 6 minus 2 over
Oh.
3.
Okay. Oh, so you say 3 over 6 minus 2 over 6 is 1 over 6. All right. It's
Yes.
fine. All right. Awesome. It is cool. Cool. Awesome. Right. Actually what we wanted was 11 over 25 minus 7 over 25 is 4 over 25. And yeah, guys, that is our story for today. Let me take us quickly to the homework. Homework, quickly write this down. Or you can take a screenshot, or you can take a screen grab. Just number 1, number 2, number 9, and 10. That's your homework. 1, 2, 9, 10. That is your homework. So you can take a screenshot, a screen grab. If you're using a computer, it's the Windows key. It's the one with the blocks, the key with that has the blocks, and print screen, which is between F12 and insert. So print screen is PRTSCR. You press that at the same time, it takes a screen grab. You press it at the same time, it takes a screen grab. So it's the Windows key and print screen, which is PRTSCR. You press that two at the same time, it takes a screen grab. Then that is how you can just quickly get what is the homework. You can quickly get what is the homework. We have 1 minute left. I hope you guys have written down the homework. Thank you guys for being fantastic students. Thank you for being amazing students. It has been a beautiful lesson. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It's been a beautiful lesson. So thank you guys for being part of the lesson. Yeah, I'll only take down one question because I see that it seems that there must be someone who wants to speak to me. I don't know who it is, but I have to go because time is up. I see that time is up. This is just a quote. Don't worry about this. This is just a quote. This is just a quote from Cristiano Ronaldo. This is just a quote. So just take down the homework and then we're done. As he says, to be the best, you need the best. Simple as that. Right. So yeah, guys, then that's it from me. Goodbye. Love you all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.